I want to believe in Bigfoot. I also want to believe the perfect Bigfoot movie is out there, somewhere, just out of sight, watching and waiting. Until then, I'll watch as many Bigfoot films as I can and report back to you in this series that I like to call Big Feet's Toes of Terror. Today's episode, the B-movie star-studded Biglegend. There! Welcome back to ML Miller Frights, a part of the Kings of Horror Network. I'm ML Miller. While you might be watching this video on the Kings of Horror Network, I urge you to click over to my ML Miller Frights YouTube page and give it a like. Please share with all of your buddies. Click subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to ring that bell for notifications. I spend way too much time watching Bigfoot videos on sightings, stories, and research on YouTube. One of the channels I frequent often is Altruist's Bigfoot channel. Al seems like a genuinely great guy and tells some fantastic tales about the beast I want to believe is real. Look for the link to his channel below if Bigfoot phenomenon interests you. Biglegend is playing now on Kings of Horror, the link's down below. It's also available on demand and digital download and streaming on Tubi. Biglegend is directed and written by Justin Lee. Ex-soldier Tyler, played by Kevin Makeley, plans the perfect hiking vacation with his girlfriend Natalie, played by Summer Spiro. But just after proposing, the lovers' blissful break from the big city is interrupted by a giant hairy beast which swipes Natalie from their tent and leaves Tyler in the hospital. Once released, Tyler vows to find his fiancée and get revenge on that darn Sasquatch. Tyler meets a survivalist named Eli, played by Todd A. Robinson, who knows about the local lore of the giant monster lurking around the sacred Native American territory. The two set out to take the fight to the beast, but will military trailing and Murican chutzpah be enough to take on this monster of myth? Taking quite a few pages from the original Predator, Biglegend is an ultra-fun action horror film. While the film was made on a modest budget, it's rather interesting to see the take on Bigfoot as a Predator-style monster bent on battering anything that enters its claimed territory. More so than the last few Predator films, Biglegend tries to capture that machismo that exuded from every frame of the original Predator film, and maybe the first sequel. This might come off as cheesy at times in this modern day and age, but Biglegend is just that, cheesy fun, from start to finish. Sure, there are a lot of action movie tropes that are being used, like survivalist montages of slogging through the snow and mud while brandishing guns and backpacks, but set against the backdrop of a Bigfoot film, this actioner works amazingly well. Kevin Makeley isn't the best actor. In fact, he's rather goofy at times. I also couldn't shake that he looks very much like Bradley Cooper. He's physically fit, and that's what the role requires most as he goes toe-to-toe with the monster in the woods. Much of the film simply demands on physical performances, as this is a film that relies more on action than anything else. These action scenes are choreographed well, showing the filmmaker Justin Lee has quite a lot of skill in his bag of tricks as he takes advantage of the rough and forested terrain. The tougher-to-swallow moments definitely occur when some emotion is required. Makeley just isn't able to do that believably, but hell, neither could Arnold. So I can't put this against the actor. What Biglegend is a lo-fi action film that happens to have a Bigfoot as a big bad. And damn it, it works. One of the things that makes this film work so well is the Bigfoot himself, and how absolutely awesome this guy looks. With long strands of hair in its face and across his hulking frame, the beast looks a bit like Rob Zombie on steroids and hair pills. This shaggy dog look makes for a menacing monster reminiscent of Looney Tunes Gossamer mixed with Muppets Sweetums more than anything else. Filmmaker Justin Lee does a great job of keeping the monster under wraps, showing him in the periphery or in the background or in the shadows. But fear not, the monster is revealed eventually and in focus for the climax, and it's quite a sight to see. I also love the attention to Bigfoot lore, specifically the suggestions that Native Americans have a deal of sorts with Bigfoot. Biglegend also features knocks, howls, the stacking of rocks, and the suggestion that Bigfoot is a carnivore. There are a lot of nice and intricate details that shows Lee has done his homework on all things Bigfoot. Biglegend is a fun action flick. It's not heady. Its emotional impact is a tough pill to swallow, but in the end I enjoyed it quite a bit. Those looking for major roles for its advertised cast, Adrienne Barbeau, Amanda Wyss, and Lance Henriksen, are going to be a little disappointed, as the horror icons only have a few minutes of supporting roles each. This is Makeley's show, and as an action star, he's able to carry the weight, at least in the physicality department. The film actually tries to open up its own universe by suggesting a sequel, and I hope Lee gets the funding to do it. This being made in 2018, I imagine the filmmakers are still trying to make that happen. This was a real crowd pleaser on its premiere on Kings of Horror the other day. Bigfoot plays like a lo-fi predator and makes a lot of magic with its budget and delivers quite a lot of gritty action and horror to boot. I give Biglegend 3 feet and 3 toes. That'll be it for today. Please chime in down below in the comments and let me know how on the nose or mind-numbingly wrong I am, or you can counter with your own review. So guys, you know how YouTube works. I'd love to be able to dedicate more time to this channel. I'm not monetized yet, so if you want to help me out, remember to hit all the pertinent bells and whistles down below. Want some spooky comics to read? I have 2 new horror comic book trade paperbacks you should look out for. Both Grave Trancers and Pirouette, collecting never-before-published issues, can be found in only the finest of comic book shops. If you're looking for written reviews, you can find them on my website, mlmillerwrites.com. If you really want to show your support, I also have a Patreon page at mlmiller. The link's down below. Thank you so much for your time, and take care.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're